Is it recording?
I think so. Right, it is recording, I think. Right, welcome, if you're listening. Welcome to this podcast that I'm starting, which is basically going to be a very loose, a very casual Russian football podcast. But like we'll talk about host of other things. This is going to be very casual, and my co-host for this podcast is going to be my good friend Aleksandr Kokorin's PR agent and the founder of Rock Nation Ireland, Artem. Artem, how are you doing? Introduce yourself. And how was your meeting today
What
with
an
Jay-Z?
introduction.
You met Jay-Z
What an
today.
introduction.
I've had
Thank
it in
you
the
so
back
much.
for weeks. I've been thinking about it for weeks.
Okay, right. I haven't been thinking about this podcast for that long. But yeah, if anybody here is listening, just to let you know, if you're looking for facts, if you're looking for well-informed opinions, this is not the place to be. So me and Hanu are just going to be chatting shit. So if you enjoy that, stick around.
Yeah, stick around. If you've got any questions, suggestions, if you want to come on the podcast, whatever. This is more of a chat than a podcast anyway. So we've got no hard and fast rules. We've not got a set schedule yet. We're just going to be talking and I'm going to put it out for the world to see. Now, we're going to jump right into it. We're not going to waste any time. We are going to jump right into it. And now, usually, me and Artem, we are Zenit fans, usually, right? But as you might have seen in the intro part, I am FC Spartak India for the time being. And Artem is also defected to Spartak Moscow. And the
No, no,
reason
no, no, no. Hang on. No, that has not happened. Stop
he,
making lies up.
he has had to defect to Spartak Moscow, and he's going to tell you why. You probably know why at this point if you know Russian football. Aleksandr Kokorin, he left Zenit. He's now moved to Spartak Moscow. And Artem is like the biggest fan of Kokorin there is. So we're going to let him introduce this topic, talk about what he thinks, and then we're going to move on and talk about what I think. Artem, the floor is completely yours.
Okay, so if I'm sure most people know the story by now, but 2018, Kokorin and Mamayev obviously did some bad stuff and went to prison for a while. Kokorin came back. Zenit did not speak about him at all. You cannot find anything past the time he came back from prison on their Twitter. You can't find it on their website. Nothing, right? So they were just completely quiet, but they kind of led on as if maybe he might come back and play for Zenit when he comes back from his loan from Sochi. Well, listen, that didn't happen, and he moved to Spartak instead. So yeah, I really don't know what to say about this. I hope he really does well.
Yeah.
Like I hope he's top scorer in the league, but I hope Spartak don't do well. If that makes sense. So yeah, Hani, what do you make of this transfer?
I don't know. I think it's a really good transfer for them. Um, we're sounding like the other podcast now, but it's fine. We're gonna get into the jokes in a little bit. I think it's a really good transfer, and I think he will do very well. I was a bit wary of it at first because they already have what three good strikers, and I think they don't really need to strengthen. But I'm sure he's going to do very very well. And I am Zenit have not really handled it in a great way to say the least because they didn't sack him like Krasnodar did with Mamayev. They kept him on their books, and Zenit have it's just been very weird in a lot of things over the past year. I'm not biased at all when I speak about this. So, and the savvy listeners of our podcast might actually know why I am disguised as FC Spartak India for this episode. But Zenit have been weird with a lot of things. One of them is Kokorin. They said that because for a long time, Sergei Seman actually said, "Oh, he's going to be a part of us," and so on and so forth. But he actually wasn't, and now they still haven't tweeted out that his contract expired or anything. They haven't said anything since he went to Sochi. It's just been very weirdly handled, and I think he has served his punishment. I think he should be given a chance to express himself, play well. And I I don't like to say it, but I think Spartak are actually going to look fairly good for this season. We're going to get into transfers in a little bit as well, but I think they're going to do pretty well. That's all I have to say. Really, I hope Kokorin does well as well. You know. Um,
Listen, quick prediction. How many goals do you reckon he'll score?
how many? I think he'll score. I think he'll score 10. I think he should score 10. If he
Yeah, I
doesn't,
think
who
10
do
is
you think?
realistic. He scored something like, what was it?
I think he
How
says
many games did he play this season?
7 goals in 10 games. It says
Oh yeah, I really should have just read that on the screen, shouldn't I have?
that's fine. That's fine.
Anyway, yeah, 7 goals. So 7 goals in 10 games playing for Sochi.
Yeah.
You know, like if he's playing up front for Spartak and they're actually feeding him the ball, I think he could get 10, 12, maybe 14. I don't think he'll get more than that. He's never been like a prolific, scorer, but I think he'll do well.
Do you think this is gonna? We're already off topic, but do you think this is going to like add an extra layer of spice to the Zenit Spartak rivalry? Because I've been working on Twitter a bit about how childish I think the beef, the fucking Medvedev and Fedun have been in, and then there's Gazizov and them not firing shots but doing. Do you think this is going to add an extra layer to things, or do you think nobody is really going to care that much?
I think it really depends on how Kokorin does against Zenit. I think if he scores a goal against like us next season and he celebrates, that's a completely different dynamic. You know what I mean? Like that's a
Yeah,
completely different story. Whereas if he kind of treats it more respectful, then I don't think it's going to escalate anything any further. Like that already, the two clubs hate each other. So
yeah,
I don't think a transfer like this is going to make much of a difference. But I think that Zenit fans, I think at the moment, you know, they still like a Koran.
yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong, I haven't looked at the reaction to him moving to Spartak, but I think they can understand. Um, but like it's definitely not a situation where like it's not the same situation that Tuba was in a couple of years ago when he moved to Zenit.
That's true. I agree with that, and I really do hope he does well because I'm moving on to the game, which is we're recording the day before Zenit versus Lokomotiv in the Super Cup, and just like 30 minutes ago, the news broke that there are apparently 7 inconclusive coronavirus tests in the Zenit camp. Now, I've started to take anything Russian media says with a big pinch of salt because like half of it isn't even true. A few days ago, yesterday they said Malcolm wants to leave for Sevilla. Malcolm said that's not true. Then they created a whole beef between Ribalta and Semak. He said that's not true. So I don't really know what to trust. I think there's just like 90% of it is lies at this point, which isn't a great look for Russian football. But
Yeah, but at the same time, like, why would they lie about the coronavirus cases though? That's
I
kind of
think
like the one thing where I'm like, I think it probably is true. I don't think they'd lie about something like that because it's very easily fact checked.
But do you think the game will happen then tomorrow, or do you just think they're going to quarantine 7 players and move on with it?
I don't actually know, like, because the news literally just broke. If if Lokomotiv, if they decide to postpone the game, like as like fair play, then it probably won't go ahead. But at the same time, I don't see why they would do that because like this stuff has been happening in Russia for like pretty much ever
Months.
since
Yeah,
they came back from the coronavirus. So I don't know what to think. If the game goes ahead, it goes ahead. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like
yeah, exactly. I think I agree. And you know what they say about the Super Cup as well. It's a friendly unless we win, right?
that's
Nobody
it.
really
That's
cares.
exactly it.
Yeah. But the thing is, you know what? If it does get postponed or whatever, I would really be mad because like ever since the restart, I don't think it's been a very happy or spotless restart to say. There's been some good football, but overall it's not been a great season for Russian football, whether it's in Europe or on the pitch, off the pitch, whatnot. I really would be pissed with the RFU because I think they've shown a very distinct lack of leadership in all of these things. Some clubs are forfeiting games, some are playing children, and if this happens on the first day of the new season, then I think it really will be a bummer. But I think they need to. I think I read something which said that like clubs have adopted a new protocol which says that, which is like Europe, if a player gets the virus, then he's just quarantined and the rest of the squad takes the test and plays on. That would be fair, but then in Russia, you've got like half a squad getting the virus, so I don't really know. I hope it
What
goes
what I'm
through.
afraid,
You
yeah,
go
what
on.
I'm afraid of is it going into the next season, like especially like when is the next season starting? By the way, is it next week or is it this week?
No, it's like Saturday, day after tomorrow.
Brilliant. Well, that tells you how informed I am about all this. Anyway, if it starts off like this, like if Zenit missed their first game or two because of the coronavirus, like that's going to be massive in the title race. Same way as if any other team had that issue. And I don't know what the story is if they'd end up, obviously they have the whole year to make up those games if needs be. But like how is that on the opponents as well? Because you can't just make them play 2 or 3 games in a week just because one team had a coronavirus case that they couldn't play because of. It really is a massive mess in Russia. The way they've brought back football.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
I don't think any other league in Europe has had it quite as bad as Russia.
I don't think any league has had a single, like, I know in Spain in the second division they had, like, on the very last day of the season there was no case. It was great until that point, and then a few cases popped up and it's become a huge controversy now. I don't think any other league which has restarted has it this bad. Like, and do you think
Like
some of it is go on?
Yeah, I was gonna say when the Premier League was like meant to come back, there was cases here and there, like a Brighton player or a Bournemouth player here and there, but it was never to the extent of the whole squad has it and they're gonna have to postpone their game.
Exactly. Do you think it's down to the clubs as well, the frequency of these outbreaks, or do you think it's not really the club's fault?
I don't see how it could really be the club's fault. Like the players are just going to work. It's the same way as anyone else who is going to work. I think it's really on the governing body in Russia. It's if we can't play, if we can't keep it safe, we shouldn't play. You know what I mean? Like what's the point in having a season start now if this is going to be our problem? If there's going to be loads of games forfeited or postponed and having to play in like February, March again. It doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't either. And I'd really be pissed off because the RFU and all these clubs, they seem to just like every single day there's a shot. Some club is taking shots at the referee, somebody's taking shots at the thing which I don't even know the name, the government body which controls the like virus restrictions and so on. And like no, but like there's it seems very childish, it doesn't reek of the sixth best league in Europe. It's not very professional, all of it. But let's move on back to the pitch and talk about, as you can see, I've got a whole transfer market window open here. We're gonna go club by club. We don't care about half the clubs, so we're not gonna dissect the 17-year-old loanee Rotor Volgograd has signed, but we will go over some of the major transfers. The biggest one so far has been Dejan Lovren. 12 million euros signed from Liverpool. Dejan Lovren has a Champions League and a Premier League under his belt, but he is best known for being horrible and saying things when he shouldn't say them. He also is notable for fighting Sergio Ramos, which and a lot of people have reacted well to this transfer. Artem, what do you think of it? Because I know what you think of it, but the listeners might not.
I'm a big fan of this transfer, to be honest. With Ivanovic leaving, I think that he's a good player to bring in, and especially alongside Rakitsky, who is, a strong presence back there. I think he'll do well. Obviously, like Lovren is known for, some of his mistakes at Liverpool, but you've got to remember that this isn't Premier League teams we're going to be facing all the time, and he's got the experience in Europe as well to do well. Like I genuinely think he's going to be a really good player, and the fact that he's come into Russia, he's already learning Russian. He's already gone on tours around the city. The interviews he's been given are fantastic. Genuinely, you can see that he's passionate about starting his career at Zenit. So I'm very happy with the transfer. I don't care what we paid for him, to be honest.
See, that's the thing, and I about those interviews, and you know what? I hate to say it because Real and Liverpool fans have this weird beef, and I don't like Dejan Lovren at all. He does come off as a nice guy in the interviews, but you could never tell from him, because a Liverpool fan I talked to on like Twitter said that he's either an 8 out of 10 or a 2 out of 10. And that doesn't really inspire, because the thing with Ivanovic was that he's still a great leader. Even though he's old, he's still very good at the back. He's a good footballer. And he was known in the Premier League for being he's a proper legend. Nobody would dispute that. He's one of the best right backs in the Premier League. Dejan Lovren is not that. And I don't think he's going to strengthen the team. I don't think he's going to make a huge difference in the Champions League. I think he's like a a backup or sort of a luxury option at best, and you're spending 12 million euros for him. You're not going to sell him on for profit. He's getting old. He's slow. A team with pace could easily dismantle him and Rakitsky. He's, I mean, I hope he does well for Zenit's sake, but it doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence, really.
You say he's getting old, but he's only 31. Like he's not that old. Like centre backs have a longer career than most positions on the pitch. And when like Ivanovic came to Zenit when he was what, like was he 33? I could be wrong
Yeah,
there,
something like that.
but like people when he came to Zenit, so many people were saying he's past, he's not going to do anything, he's just there for the profile, pretty much. But what he ended up being unbelievable. And I get the fact that you're saying that he was a Premier League legend and everything,
Yeah.
but like Dejan Lovren is still like you said, a Champions League winner and a Premier League winner, and like you don't get into the Liverpool squad that easily. Like he's a good player.
Nah, see, you know what? With like those things are always so like misleading. The Champions League and Premier Liverpool don't have a great deal of squad depth. Like if you
Well,
look at it,
what about when Croatia got to the World Cup final? Like I know that wasn't just him. Modric carried that team. Like there were so many players, Rebic and all them. They were amazing. But like Lovren was part of that team.
that is true. That is true to be fair. But then
There's
you had
like
like Domagoj Vida was starting in that team as well, so it's not really.
no,
I don't
I
know.
know. But like, do you not think that like the fact that Vida and Lovren were a solid defense? I think Rakitsky and Lovren could be a solid defense as well.
I don't know. Maybe they could. So, what do you rate this transfer out of 10?
I'm gonna say, I kind of want to go like with an 8 because like it would have been a 10 if we got him for free, but we didn't.
Yeah.
I still think he's going to improve the team, and I think he's going to be really solid for us. But like, it remains to be seen. Like every transfer.
Yeah, that's true. I think I'd give him a 5, and a major reason is the price tag, because 12 million, that's more than we paid for Rakitsky. It's only a little bit less than what we paid for Azmoun and Barrios. I don't really know. But let's have a look at the other transfers. Zenit have not signed anybody else. Do you think Zenit will sign somebody else during the window?
I honestly don't know. I haven't been following the news that much, so I'm not like in the loop of
there's not a great
who's
deal
they're in for really.
There's not a great deal of rumors. Let's look at the outgoings. Now, this one made me sad. This one really made me sad. One of the best central defensive midfielders in the world. He has captained the Brazilian national team. He was part of the Copa America squad that won it. Hernani has finally left Zenit for Parma for like 4.5 million. How sad were you when you first heard this news? Because I couldn't get out of bed for 2 days.
Man, what a servant he has been to Zenit. What a player.
Where did he come from? I don't even know where this guy came from, man. Who is this guy?
I think he came from who? Hernani.
Yeah, like where did he come from? Like he's like
he came from Brazil. Was it like Corinthians or Grêmio? Or it was one of those teams. And I just remember when he signed, I was like, this is going to be deadly. He's going to be taking all the free kicks. He's going to shoot from far out. We're going to get a load of goals from just
scored like
the box.
Did he even score? I don't even know if he scored for Zenit.
I don't remember a goal he scored if he did score one.
But
it was hilarious because every time you'd watch him, he'd hit shots from 30 yards out and they hit rows out every time. Every single time, without fail.
Tony Villena is a bit like that, but he's better. Tony Villena, every shot he takes is from outside the box. And like on his first day at the club, he scored like a banger in his first game. Since then, he's just been taking shots. I don't think he scored a single one.
Yeah, but I don't think we should. I don't think we should compare Hernani.
Yeah, no. Villena is much better. But Hernani is gone. We're happy. It's a decent amount of money. Oleg Shatov, I don't really care. He's way past his best. He's gone to Rubin Kazan. I don't know if you've got much to say on him. Thanks for the memories. Time to go. Same for Igor Smolnikov. Same thing. Hope he does well for Krasnodar. Kokorin gone. Talked about it. And Anyukov has finally retired at the age of 74. Ivanovic is gone. Apparently, he's going to go to Everton. That'd be nice for him. Jordan Osorio is interesting because this page, by the way, until today, it said that Osorio had signed for Zenit, but apparently he's not signed for Zenit. Would you like to keep him permanently?
Do you know what? If we'd signed him, I would have been like, okay, yeah, that's a solid player we can have. But I'm not really too upset to see him go. Like he was okay. He never really stood out to me as being an amazing player. So
I feel bad for him, because he got like zero attention from anybody. Like I don't even remember how he was announced. He was announced on deadline day on like a small loan. There was no photos of him. There was no interview. There was like nobody seemed to care about the poor guy, and he was like not even that bad of a player. I wouldn't
we're not
mind.
going through all the transfers here, are we?
No, we're not gonna go through all of them. We're just gonna go like big
Any
clubs.
other any other big ones in the league?
Lokomotiv signed a couple. Don't really care. Smolov's back. Don't really care. Howard has Farfan, Kolomitsev. They've gone. Kolomitsev retired early. This is a big one. Adolfo Gaich. This is probably the second biggest one so far. This guy is a forward from Argentina. He's very, very highly rated. He's played for the national team. He signed for CSK. See, how do CSK get money every year? They've got a billion ruble sponsorship with Alisher Usmanov now. They announced a new sponsor today, and they're apparently going to spend like 10 more million. Every year they
Well, there
don't
you
have
go.
money until the transfer.
You just answered your question.
But they made a loss of 57 million euros last year. Every year Evgeny Jenner is selling the club and he doesn't. Like they're fair play to them for doing this. But this guy, like, I feel like he could be really massive. Like, he could score like 20 goals a season just because of how highly
I
everybody's rating him.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, don't get me wrong. I hadn't really heard of him until CSK were linked.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, given the fact that he cost 11 million, he must be decent. But I've never actually seen him play. Like, have you
Yeah.
seen even highlights or anything? Like, what kind of player is he?
He's like a target man. So I think target men do really well in Russia. He's very, very highly rated, like super big clubs were behind him. Seems intelligent as well. He said he chose CSK as like a stepping stone and he knows how big the club is and so on. So I don't know. I hope he does well. I would like to see CSK doing well again.
Do you expect him to play alongside Chalov or instead of him? Or
I don't know because I think with Vlasic he'll do really well, but I don't know what CSK are going to do with their money. If I don't really know, to be honest, because it's unpredictable. I don't know the player really well either. I just know he's well rated. Outgoings, nobody cares. Krasnodar have signed two boomers, which is not very academy young money of them. Rostov have been Rostov and signed a bunch of kids. They signed this Japanese guy, and in the announcement, they stuck a photo of the wrong Japanese player. And then the Japanese people, they were not happy. And the announcement went. That should go on no context, by the way. I'll try to find it.
How did I not see that?
I don't know. It was it was like a month ago, and to appease
okay.
to appease the Japanese following, they put it out at like 6 a.m. Rostov time. So it was up for like a good 4 or 5 hours. And it was this photo was of this guy who plays for Werder Bremen or something. Dynamo Moscow, they've signed Daniil Fomin. People are rating that transfer. They're going. How do you think they'll do in the Europa League quickly?
Honestly, it depends. It depends who they come against. Really, have they got to go through a
Yeah, they've got
qualification or are they straight
yeah
in?
the whole thing, second, third qualification, playoff, all of it.
I think they could get to the group. I can't imagine them getting out, especially if they there's a good few very good teams in the Europa League.
Yeah, there is.
So I can imagine it being the case of they'll either come second or third or something, depending on what kind of group they get. But more likely than not, they won't get out of the group. I don't think. What do you think?
That's true. You know what, they finished sixth, but I'm not really confident in them because they've not been playing really well. They lost to Khimki in a friendly. I just don't think they've clicked. Their squad is very talented and they've spent a lot of money on it. I don't think they've clicked. I don't know if it's due to the manager or whatever, but I'm not really that confident. I can see them losing to some club from Albania in the second round because I think the qualifications this year are also going to be like one-legged. So there's that as well.
Yeah, well, then I'm not so confident for them.
Yeah. They've also let go of their entire midfield and some other boomers, but
yeah, I saw that Neustadter's gone as well. Did he find the club yet or no?
no, he's not gone. Jorginho went. Panchenko's gone to Tambov. We don't care about Tambov, but worth mentioning. I don't think does
Good signing
anybody
for
care
them though.
about Tambov?
I don't.
I I don't think anybody does. UFA, they somehow find ways to make money out of every single player. They've not signed anyone of note. They've let go of Urunov, who we're going to talk about in a second. But they keep doing their thing. Fair play to them. They still have not been bought by Red Bull or Manchester City. We
I'm
were,
really happy about that, to be honest. I think UFA are a very good run club already, and I think bringing like what essentially is a franchise like that to Russia, it's just not a good idea. I'd rather for the clubs to be all, you know,
yeah, the thing
I don't
about
even
that
know what I'm
is,
trying to say.
yeah, I can agree there. But like, thing is, I feel like the Russian league deserves a lot more media coverage and like player coverage because there's like, why does the
Man, like
Dutch league and
bringing a Red Bull team is not the way to do that. Like, look at the what's it, Red Bull Salzburg. Like,
yeah,
do you think that they've really brought that much attention to that league? They might have brought some attention to themselves, but like, has the league really benefited from it?
I don't know. That's a good point. To be fair, I just think the clubs really need to like get their shit together in Europe because Russian clubs are terrible every year in Europe, but their squads are.
Oh, it's the most frustrating thing ever.
It's so bad.
This year though, we didn't even get to the none of the Russian teams got to the
None of them got to the. And I was so
knockouts.
excited because everyone had a good transfer window, and again, everybody's having a good transfer window. Everybody has a good squad. Everybody is probably gonna bottle again. I remember CSK and Krasnodar lost 5-0 on their first match day to like proper banter clubs. Ludogorets put 5 past Krasnodar.
I know.
Arsenal Tula, absolutely nobody cares. Yuri Lodigan is gone again. Spartak have signed. What do you think about Urunov? Because he's probably the only major transfer that's left. We can spend 2 minutes on him. I think he's a really good player. I just don't know if he's going to fit into the system.
I kind of agree with you there. Like, he was very fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like I watched Ufa all the time, but you know, like David Sanson, he put up a lot of videos of Urunov, and like I was like, Jesus, this guy, like, he clearly has talent. It's just, I feel like now it's just a case of whether Spartak can get the best out of him.
Yeah,
And if they can, they've got a really good player on their hands.
I agree. They're one of those teams. If they click, they're going to be very good. Ruben Kazan, nobody except for David Sanson, friend of the show. We're going to get him on maybe. Nobody cares. Desportovic is a good signing for them, but apart from that, Desportovic, he like the day he left Orenburg, he was like he posted about 20 screenshots of him being linked to Trabzonspor, only to go to Ruben Kazan, which I think deserves an F in the chat. Ural, they don't exist. Sochi, they are the devil, so we don't care. Akhmat Grozny signed a couple, nobody cares. Tambov, why is Rizhikov still playing? He's 39. Go home.
Listen, he, he wants to win the Champions League. It's a bit like Buffon.
Oh my god, don't even. Buffon is so Buffon is so dusted, man. That guy. I feel bad for Chesney because he's so much better, but he still gets benched in like clutch games by this 45-year-old man. It's not fair. Rotor Volgograd have been signing players. We're gonna talk about Rotor Volgograd's jersey, which is something else. But I do not think that Kimki. Anybody care about Kimki? How do
I
you
think
think
we can
Kimki
just
will do?
fly through. I think they're going to get relegated.
Relegated, really?
Yeah, like,
Because
I
they
just
beat.
can't imagine them staying up.
Well,
They're one of those teams who, like, when you're playing the Russian league and Football Manager, they'll go up for one season and they'll lose
yeah,
every
that's
game.
true. That's true. Finish on 8 points.
Yeah, but
70
like
people
obviously they've
seated.
got some backing from Spartak, so
I don't even
who
know,
knows?
man. I don't even know about that, to be fair. So let's move on to the predictions quickly. Who do you think will win Champions League, relegation? Just those. Then we'll move on to the fun part, the kits.
Okay. I think Zenit will win the league again. I think we still got the strongest squad, and unless that changes, think it's the best shout. Champions League, there's only one spot extra on top of. There's only 2 Champions League spots now, isn't there?
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be Loco. I think it
No.
might be. Krasnodar seem to never really get up there, and I don't think this year is going to be any different. I think it's either going to be CSKA, or if Spartak can get Kokorin and Urunov into the team, and they do really well, they might be in for a shout. But I'm going to say CSKA.
Right. That's what. One day we will talk about how Krasnodar low key are on fraud watch.
Hang on. You have to give your predictions as well. You can't
I know.
leave me here.
I am. But we're just going to talk about, like, mention how Krasnodar low key might be frauds. I think Zenit will probably win the league again, even though they haven't strengthened, like you say. I think Spartak are so unpredictable. Like, they could get relegated, but they could also win the league. That's so weird. I think CSK will finish second, like you said. Spartak third. Oh, Rostov are also in there as well. Wow. To be fair, there's 6. There probably will be 6 spots because we're going to get the Conference League. So that might be something to look at. But I think it'll be Zenit, CSK, Spartak, Krasnodar, Lokomotiv, Rostov, and maybe Dynamo. I think it'll be the same clubs, just shuffled different.
Yeah, I mean, Ruben Kazan have a few good players, but I still can't imagine them getting up higher than any of those 6.
Are they still banned, or does that expire this season?
I don't actually know, but I just mean in terms of the table, I can't imagine them
Yeah, that's true.
getting up there anyway.
Can't either. The foreigner limit as well. Most clubs have more than 8 foreigners. So
Jesus, Rostov is 12.
well, yeah, but there's loads of like loan players there's like 7 Icelandic players in Rostov, which are all out on loan. So
Fair.
Moving on. This is the part of our show where we just hate on things. New kids. I think this has been an absolutely terrible year for Russian football kids, and some clubs still are yet to announce their new kits. Most already have. But let's get right into it. This is the worst kit, I think, in Russian football history.
I mean, that is an outrageous statement, but saying that, I can't think of one that's worse. It is quite atrocious.
And then like above Nike and above Zenit, there's also going to be the Winline logo. If you know how the Winline logo looks, it looks terrible. And
yeah, for anyone listening and not watching, it's the Zenit kit, the home kit. It's awful.
yeah,
it looks like one of those contrast boards, the ones where you're like trying to pick out what color carpet you want or something.
Exactly. Those that can't see the kit, it's good anyway. You're better off not seeing the kit.
Do you know what though?
What?
The Zenit away kit, I actually am a fan of. Like, I know it looks like a polo top, but something you like you said to me, it's something you could wear to go to golf, and it is. But it actually is a nice kit. Like, I could see myself getting that.
It's fine. It's much better. The home kit gets a 1 out of 10. The away kit,
Yeah,
5, 6 maybe. It's not.
I'll give it a 7. I think it's not, like, obviously, okay, when you put the sponsors on it, the extra sponsors, Inline and all them, maybe it'll look much worse. But when it's just plain with the Gazprom, I think it's a 7.
Yeah, it's not terrible. Just this is off topic, but on the side it says Fenerbahce wants to rent Smolov. And then I don't think that's going to happen. And then nobody's going to pay 20 million for Miranchuk. So why does Ilya Gurkul still keep talking, man? You got fired. Go home. Ilya Gurkus for those who don't know.
I think he's got some good opinions. Like, I think he's interested in what he says, some things, but for the most part, I do agree with you.
Yeah. Spartak. This is also a pretty terrible kit. This is not a kit that from 2020. This is from 2009 or 10. Why is it's so weird? It's so disproportionate. Why is there such a big gap between the collar and the white stripe or it's so bad? This might be worse than the Zenit kits now that you look closely to them.
No, I don't agree with you there. I think it's actually like okay. I agree with you that it's not a great kit, but I don't agree that it's worse than the Zen at home one. I think it's actually all right. It kind of reminds me of the black and red contrast. Kind of reminds me of back in the 2000s, back in the Aiden McGeady days.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like it's from those
Spartak.
days. The white one is really bad though.
You know, maybe it's just a thing with white kits. I actually don't mind it too much. It's like okay, like oh, you'd never see me wearing one. Not only because I'm a Zenit fan, but just because it's not, I wouldn't buy that. Like, but it's not awful. Like I've seen worse kits.
If you do like white kits, you will be in for a big surprise when you see the Rotor Volgograd kit. I have a feeling you will really, really like it. Krasnodar are back with this, but this actually looks pretty nice. It looks like a training kit, but again, on the front, there's going to be the Winline logo, which has pretty much ruined the kit. What do you think of it?
Same as you. Without the sponsor, it's nice. I think when they add the sponsor, especially like their logo is like orange or something, Winline.
Yeah,
So it's so like ugly against Krasnodar's green.
it really is. There's like five companies that sponsor Russian football as well, which doesn't help.
Yeah, I know.
Now, Trains Moscow, they've come out with a very creative kit. Like, what's the point? Who cares? It's the same thing.
It's plain, but it's nice. Like I
Yeah,
actually,
it's nice. It's
I
not
don't
bad.
know.
It's not bad at all. But it's the same thing.
It's one of the better kits.
Yeah, definitely. Now, these are my favorite kits for the year. I unironically like these kits. Uh,
Oh my fucking god, Hanu! Like, come on,
I like these.
you you can't be serious.
Why? What's wrong with them?
You can't be serious. First of all, look at the state of that color, right?
What's wrong with the
Second
color?
of all, the home kit and the away kit are the exact same.
No, they're not. You
Go
colorblind.
back
They're
up.
white.
They, no,
Look,
no, yeah, okay, right. The little sleeve. The only difference, like when you're playing on the pitch, the only difference is the shorts. Oh, they are rotten. Like it
so
looks like they're
who?
trying to camouflage, but like,
What's?
I hate them.
It's not going to be a kit clash with Ahmad Grozny, man. I like to think Ramzan Kadyrov had a direct like hand in this because this is something he would think of. Shout out to Ramzan Kadyrov if you're listening. Please hire
It
me.
looks like someone drew like paint a green canvas.
That's swag though. I like it. I think
It's
if
not swag. It's bad. It's so bad.
what I don't like is like the pattern is limited to like the front of the kit. If the pattern was extended all over the kit, I would probably like it more. But it's certainly creative. We can give Ahmad that. Now this
No,
Dynamo kit I think are actually nice. They're among the best. They're clean. They're not trying to do too much. They're fairly good. What do you think?
I don't really think that there's an opinion to be had on them. Like what you just said, they're just clean. They're okay.
They're okay.
Like 5 out of 10. They're as average as a kit can be.
Yeah. Rostov was still set to drop their kit. Rubin Kazan still have to drop that kit. Ural dropped their kits if anybody cares. We'll go over the
If Andrew
Ural
Flint
kit.
was listening, he might care.
Yeah, Andrew Flint is probably the only person that speaks English that cares about Ural don't even have their kit on their Twitter, man. We don't care about such clubs. If you can't be bothered to put your kit on Twitter, go away. Now, this is Artem originally sent me these kits, and he said that they look like something Jesus' disciples would wear, and I think they look like something which you get to wear in hospital. What do you like? What is there to be said about these kits?
I think they're as nice as Russian football kits get this season. But
Mm-hmm.
it is a mix between hospital scrubs and something that they'd wear in 0 AD.
That is true. If you are a Christian and a Jesus disciple, let us know what you think and if you would wear these.
Which one do you prefer? Do you prefer the white or the blue?
I don't care honestly. Like the white, you like
Okay.
white kits though, right? So that's one for you.
I'm I'm actually not that big fan of that white one. I prefer the blue one. I think the color is nice on it.
The colors are pretty
Anyway,
Clearly are FNL these days. I forgot about that actually. Um, they have a really good squad. There's one other kid I would like to get to before we come to rotor skate,
Ooh, I didn't realize they signed Ilya Zhigulov.
and this is all there is to rotor skate. That is it. Like uh, in their friendly, they played against CSK. They didn't have their own logo. It was just 1960s, this rotor written down the middle of it. There was no name on the back of the player's shirt. It was just a number. What do you
I rate
think?
the fact that they're sponsoring themselves. I like that kit. Like it's very simple. It's very simple as a kit can get, but the rotor in the middle makes it like look a bit like the USSR kits back in
Yeah,
like the
exactly,
70s.
exactly. Yeah, but I feel like
I,
it's.
th- I think it's cool.
I think it's fine. I don't mind it. It's. I mean, it's like it's unintentionally good. Like they put 0 minutes into thinking about it, but just given the standard of the
To be fair, I
things
can
they should.
imagine that their like kit designer doesn't really have much of a choice. It's not like Nike are gonna go out and give them something crazy that no other club has. They're probably just on a website looking through like, all right, here's 5 templates.
Yeah, but
Just
this
choose
is.
that one.
I think what would really ruin the kit is if like Parry Match and One XBet and all of them just came to sponsor it. That would ruin this kit.
Yeah, I really don't like the Olymp. You see just above the crest
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
on the arm. Yeah, I don't like that. But
Russian
look,
football needs new sponsors, man. These like same four companies, and they extend to like the post-Soviet countries. There's clubs in Ukraine and Kazakhstan with the same sponsors. It's really annoying.
you know what though?
Um,
I don't even mind. Like, but if they at least like blend the logos somehow into the kit. I really don't like when there's like a kit consists of like two main colors, like this one actually consists of two main colors. Like the white one I'm looking at now, and actually both of them they're both white and blue, right? And
yeah,
then you've got the like dark red of Olympic just above there. It's
right.
just I'm not a fan. Like there's got to be some kind of integration there.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with you. You did say Ilya Zagulev. Do you know much about Ilya? They've also signed this guy who people rate still. I don't know. Do you believe in this guy anymore? Jano? He went to Cyprus, didn't do anything there, come back to Russia.
He's just he's constantly injured, isn't he? He always was at a time Spartak. So if he can keep fit, like he's very good on the ball. It's a good dribbler, but I don't know. That it's a big if.
Yeah. Russian football has too many like very high rated talents that just never pan out and it makes you sad. I hope this current generation doesn't go through the same. But
Oh, it will. Oh, it will.
that'll be sad. So I think we've discussed everything in the RPL. Do you care about the FNL? It's a pretty straightforward question. There have been a few clubs that have gone up and down. I personally want Orenburg to win and Ska Khabarovsk to come along with them. But do you care about the FNL? Do you have any thoughts about it? Um, who do you think will win,
I,
Simon?
like I don't usually follow the FNL. Like I'd look at the table here and there, like once a month or something. But yeah, like I don't watch any of the games. I'm hoping
Hmm.
Korea come back up. Obviously, I'm from Samara myself, so
Yeah.
um, I don't want that big stadium being down in the FNL. But
Hmm.
yeah, like there's a few exciting teams down there. Torpedo Moscow, um, Chitanova as well. So it'll be nice to see who comes up, but
Yeah.
I, I'm not going to follow the season really. What about yourself?
I don't know. I hope Orenburg, Ska, and Krylia come up, but like I don't really care. I'm not going to follow it that much. I did watch the first weekend though because I was really bored, and I felt bad for a couple of the Orenburg players, especially Joel Fameye, because like Orenburg's last game was I think away at Dynamo or away at Zenit, something like that, and it's like a really great stadium built like last year, super high quality, good football being played, some of the country's best players on there. And not like a week later, you have to go away to Dynamo Bryansk, one of the worst football pitches I've ever seen. There's like random like piece like potholes in there. The grass has not been cut for months. Klimovic got injured. They didn't even have a stretcher, so they like brought a literal sack. to like carry away the guy. His knee was
Brilliant.
his knee was gone. He still chose to walk it off. Just looking at it. So the FNL really is
Jesus.
a different animal.
Well, it's the greatest league in the world, as they call it in Russia.
Yeah, that's true.
Uh,
It's a
did
wild
you
place.
did you see Pinev though on his debut? That's one thing that's one person I'm going to look out for this season.
I did see Pinyaev. He's too young, and like I don't want him to
Oh,
like
but
get an
still, like
assist. Yeah.
he's 15 making his debut and he assists within 30 seconds. Like that's so impressive.
But there will be like one dickhead who plays for like Volga Astrakhan who's gonna try and chop his knees off. There will be that one guy. So I hope they like use him with each, and I hope United just buy him next year. I hope that happens because
I
I
don't
don't.
think he can go there though. I think that there's some rule against players under 18,
Not
especially from
like
countries like
3 years.
Russia. So
That's mad. I hope then like a bigger
yeah,
club buys him for a bit then.
yeah. See, that's the thing. I think that I don't know what the story is exactly, but I know that United probably can't get him until he's 18,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that it's probably unlikely that they'll want anyone else to have him in the meantime if he keeps progressing the way he is. So I expect him just to stay in Russia for the next couple of years. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's hopefully no injuries. Honestly, I wish him all the success in his career because
Yeah. 100%.
he looks like the future. So
Yeah. I agree. As we're recording, by the way, there's a couple of rumors going on the timeline. Wanderson is apparently going to go to Sporting Lisbon. I think that'd be a great move for him and for Sporting. He's a very good player, very underrated. Lokomotiv fans are banging their head against the wall because some random Serbian bloke has passed a medical. Wilmar Barrios has been in the news, although some people have said that it's fake. He might go to Milan or Newcastle. What do you think of that, and where would you rather send him?
I'd rather keep him. Like I'd rather he didn't leave because
Oh
he's
yeah, for
a
sure.
staple in our midfield. Like I can't imagine Zenit would do half as well without
No, they
Barrios
would
because
not.
like people really don't talk about him enough.
They really
Like I
don't.
think he's not the type of like obviously because he's not a forward or something. He doesn't get a crazy amount of goals or anything that people are
Yeah,
always talking about. But he's a bulldog. Like
yeah,
he just never stops running. And
never.
I if he is to leave, I prefer him to go to Milan
Yeah,
than Newcastle. But
yeah,
I really hope that Zenit will be able to get at least 20 million from him because he's worth every
yeah.
cent.
There is like I absolutely love that guy. There is a very strong case for him to say that he's the best player in the league. Very, very strong case. Because we talk about Zuban as Moon. They have some flaws, but this guy, he's like he could slot into Real Madrid if we wanted a secondary CDM, which we do, a backup. He would be a very good backup to Casemiro because he has all the qualities. He never stops running. And what Rakitsky does is Rakitsky goes like all the way to the center circle to ping one of his balls in. And the defense is very exposed. But then like Barrios will just run and like sweep away the ball. He's pretty like I think Zenit would really struggle without him to be fair. Because who would you even replace him with? Maybe a foreigner, but there's no one in Russia that I think can do half of what he does.
But I also feel like it's so difficult to find a player like that. Like I
Yeah,
feel like okay, yeah, you can get some kind of like CDM to replace him or CM, like, but you'll end up with someone like Hernani or someone. Like it's
exactly.
so hard to find someone to slot into the midfield and do the job that he does. So I really, really hope he stays.
Yeah, I think he'll stay for at least a season because I think if I hope I think maybe the most likely to leave is probably Asmoon, but I don't think he's going to leave either. Um,
If if he was to leave, how much would you
Asmoon,
hope Zanuck could get from? Yeah,
15 to 20 million.
I think 15's a bit low. I 20, I'd be like, I get it, especially if it's if it's a top team somewhere, like if it's in a league like Italy or England or somewhere. I'd understand why he'd want to go, and it'd be hard to keep him for 20, but I'd be hoping for 20, like
You know
22,
what
24.
the thing with him, why I'm wary of him is is that if you remember a couple of seasons ago, he went on a run where he did not score a goal for an entire calendar year, right? And even ever since and I was unsure of him when he signed for Zenit as well, but he's been very, very good. He's surpassed all my expectations. But the thing is, I don't know if he's going to slot into any team, and I hope he really goes to the right team, because I can imagine him signing for like some random like club like Brighton, and then he's just getting the misery is just getting piled on him by all these weird Premier League fans, right? I would not want to see that happen. I think he needs to choose his move well. I think Italy would be really nice for him because nobody watches Italian football anyway. So nobody's really going to pressurize him, but I think that'd be a good move. But like, I'm open to letting him go. Actually, I don't really.
I
If
would have been more open to letting him go if we had Kokorin back,
yeah,
because
sure.
he would have been able to fill the slot. But like, now that we don't, if we lose Asman, like we're losing a proven goal scorer for us.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
very hard to replace someone like that. So I'd rather keep him as well.
Yeah, sure. I think even if you don't lose him, even if he gets injured for 2 weeks, what do you do? Because Zenit have relied heavily on that 4-4-2 formation, and Driussi has not been himself. Tigoni is the best player in world football, but he doesn't get a start. So it's like it's the Zenit have not done themselves. I think Zenit have taken a big L in the whole Kokorin situation. That's for sure.
But it's not like like they haven't even taken the L. They've literally given it to themselves.
Yeah.
Like it's the whole Kokorin situation. They're the ones. They're the reason he's not them. They said that they were going to back him from the start, and then they didn't. Like
Mhm.
there's no one to blame except themselves.
Do you think? Do you like if you were to sign a backup striker this season from Russia, who do you think it would be? Striker, attacker, whatever. I know this is a very spontaneous question, but still.
Yeah, I don't know. Who would you go for?
I don't know either, to be fair. I think I'd sign like Zinkovsky or someone. He's still playing for Krylia.
Would you
Uh,
call him a striker though? Like he played
no,
mainly
not
left
no, I
wing
think
last season.
because not a striker, but even
An
if you were to
attacker.
change the system and play 4-3-3, you'd have what Malcolm on one wing, Zuba down the middle, and Driussi on the left. I don't know. Zenny do need
Yeah,
one
yeah.
attacker though. Um, and I think he could be one. But the last question I've been thinking about this for a couple of weeks, and it basically came into my mind after the Man City ruling on FFP, and when that whole football leagues thing came out a couple of years ago, it mentioned Russian football. Nobody talked about it because the mainstream media doesn't really talk about Russian football. But what it said was that there were allegations, which may or may not have evidence, because we want to be legally friendly over here, that Russian clubs, because you know how Russian clubs are, the big ones, they're all owned by corporations, Gazprom, RZD, Luke, or whatever. And Gazprom's sponsorship dealings with Zenit are a little bit dodgy. Now, if you take all of that into account, and let's say in the future one day, UEFA comes crashing down on Russian football and these sponsorships, and these clubs are banned from UEFA competitions, or they're given hefty fines. What do you think the impact of that would be? And do you think Russian football would collapse? Because I think it would.
Well, what do you mean by collapse? Like, do you mean that
Like it
like
would
all the good
melt
players would leave
down.
the
All
league
the
or
players
what?
would leave. The revenues would drop. Like it would just melt down. Because a
I
lot of
think it'll have a
players.
significant impact, but at the same time, like Russia's not the only place that happens.
Yeah, but like if it did
Like,
happen in Russia.
how many? Yeah, I know, but how many bigger teams, like in bigger leagues, like let's say City, like
Yeah.
imagine what happened to City originally,
Hmm.
the 2 year ban from Europe, whatever. Imagine that happened to like, you know, like 3 or 4 teams in the Premier League, 3 or 4 teams in like PSG, like those kind of teams. Like it wouldn't be just Russian football suffering. It'd be the whole any club that's in UEFA that's broken any of those rules, anyone who has dodgy sponsorships, which is a lot of teams.
That's
That's why I
that's
don't think
that's true,
I
to be
don't
fair.
that's why I don't think it's gonna happen. It's almost too big to fail. Because they know if they crack down on one, they'll have to crack down on them all. And the crackdown on them all would like it would be like modern football would not be the same.
That's true. I think because if
But that's
I,
that's that, that's not to say that it shouldn't be done in the future. Like obviously it would be nicer if there was like legitimate money coming into football, but the way it is now, I find it very difficult to see any change happening soon.
that's true. You know what? I think people take too many liberties and they take this whole against modern football thing way out of context. Like, I don't think football is that inequitable. I don't even know if that's a word, that unequal. Because it's not, football is to a large extent, yes, money helps you. And if you have a lot of money, the consequences are not as big. But you regularly see teams, because Leicester are like, have a big case for being one of the richest clubs in the country. So I think there is still impact. I think people take a lot of these things out of context. I think in Russia, especially, Gazprom money bad. That's way overblown. A lot of the Russian clubs, they aren't run as efficiently as Zenit, which causes their own downfall. But I think it would have a big impact. I would also like to see it happen, but I think maybe it's not going to happen all at once. That's for sure. It'll like maybe one club now. It'll happen in phases if it ever does. I don't know if it will. That was basically my point. But imagine like a Champions League without all these big clubs. You would have like UFA in the Champions League.
You
That'd be
mean the Europa League?
no, the Champions League.
No, but like what you're mentioning now is just the Europa League.
Oh yeah, that's true. That'd be mad, bro.
Imagine the Champions League, right? But for teams that aren't as good as the clubs in the Champions League.
Yeah, I did. That would be hilarious. Imagine like Barcelona coming to play at UFA Stadium. Messi facing off against Belenov, saving the penalties left, right, and center.
Oh god, that'd be
That'd be
hilarious.
fun. Well, that'd be crazy. So, I think that wraps up a lot of the stuff I wanted to talk about. Do you have anything else that you want to talk about?
Oh, I think that's the end of our first. I don't even know if I'd call it a podcast because it's just a bit like just a chat.
Yeah.
So, it's the end of the first whatever this is.
Yeah, we're gonna call
Um,
it this, by the way. Whatever this is, episode 1.
Whatever this is, episode 1.
Yes. And we hope you enjoyed it. If you have stuck with us for, I think, over an hour now, and we are going to keep evolving this. We'll probably get our faces on here in a bit. We will try and get guests on. It's going to all really be very interactive and very loose. So again, if you
Yeah,
haven't,
hang on. If you're listening right now, still, if you've made it through, however long this is, drop us a message on Twitter or like let us know if you want to come on next time or whatever.
Yeah.
All this is like we just want to chat to people. That's
Exactly.
literally it. So if you're interested, drop us a message.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if you're not like, you could be anyone. Like you could just be a random guy on Twitter, or you could be Artem Zuba, and we're gonna get you on. We like democracy here. It's all fine. So yeah, just we hope you like this episode. We hope you will listen in the future. Just that's it, and thanks for listening.